Why are they so mad? Oh my goodness. So if you haven't heard, Karmelo Anthony is home free at last, thanks to a reduced bail. Now, his bail was set at $1 million, and that was absolutely egregious and exorbitant, because I just did a video on the little white boy who yeeted his whole family and then tried to yeet Trump, and they set his bail at $1 million. So I don't know how someone trying to yeet and do domestic terrorism and someone arguing self-defense, how those are the same thing.
Damn.
But thankfully, a judge who had common sense saw that and reduced their bail, I believe, to $250K. And lo and behold, the racists come out. The racists and the Sambo soldiers come out in full force, bruh. They are so upset. They are livid. They talking about, oh, she should rot in prison for what she did. Oh, this is horrible. Bruh, it got so bad that they actually started doxing her. They started harassing this female judge. And lo and behold, we come to find out that the judge is black. Oh, boy. All these people who say, I don't see color, Lucas. What do you mean? I don't see color. I just see people. That's all I see. I just find it very interesting, how that happens, that switch happens to go on and off whenever it favors them. Because all these white Republicans, all these Sambo soldiers, all these, these imbeciles, these dolts who constantly want to say, I'm not racist, I'm not right. Now they calling her and saying that she did this. She lowered the exorbitant bail simply because she was black. You have to understand, this is the lineage of evil. That's what you really have to understand, bro. All these people come from a lineage of evil. You're telling me that out of all the cases we had, right? Daniel Penny, did you hear one black person say, well, it was a white judge who did it. That's why they did it. Did you hear anyone say that? No, of course not. We were just like, hey, that's a miscarriage of justice. I disagree with the outcome, but it is what it is. And when we had Kyle Rittenhouse, and we saw what that judge was doing, bro, that judge was absolutely helping out Kyle. Did anyone say, hey, it was because he was white? That's why. Bro, the litany of cases. What are we talking about? All these judges. And this is the time they want to blame the judge's skin color, not the merit, not the credentials, right? Because they constantly quoting Martin Luther King. Oh yeah, I'm going to judge somebody by the contents of their character, not by the color of their skin. Don't know anything else about that entire speech. That's the only thing they know of the entire speech, right? To bastardize King's legacy and to bastardize civil rights and to bastardize black history in this country. That's the only thing they do. But this black woman, now all of a sudden, she did it because, she was helping out a black boy. That's what they are doing. They're just trying to be a loyalist to their own. And it's like, wait, let me get this straight. The same group of people who are constantly talking about, oh, white flight, there's a white racism, right? Reverse racism is racism. Oh, we have the President of the United States talking about, hey, we have to do something about, the hatred towards white people. All of this. Now you telling us that she helped him out because she was black? Bro. And it got so bad that the Sambo soldiers, you had one of these Sambo soldiers talking about, well, it was a woke judge, okay, and it was a lot of pressure on her, and it was a woke judge.
He's claiming self-defense, and now he has been released on bond, okay, because a woke judge and dropped it to $250,000 after a lot of pressure from the woke activists.
I miss you like a hog miss fly, like a baby miss mammy's titty.
Now, y'all know how I feel about the word woke. The right has completely bastardized the word woke, just like the left has bastardized the word woman. Oh. Because everything they don't like is woke. And the irony, y'all ready for the irony? Because none of these people do their due diligence. The irony is that this judge is a Republican. I kid you not. The judge is a registered Republican.
A woke judge.
Make it make sense. This is what I'm talking about. They lash out, bruh. This is what the lineage of evil does. When they don't get their way, they will lash out, as they did with January 6th. They lost and they lashed out. This case, they don't like how it's going. They don't like that the bond was reduced, even though we all know it was exorbitant. They lashed out. Tried attacking her, tried doxing her. Now they call her, oh, she doing this because she's black. Next thing you know, they're going to call it DEI. Now she's woke. All this stuff. And this is how these people handle things. This is how they treat it. They have the mentality and the temperament of a child.
I'm retarded?
So when someone tries to say, hey, we're on the same side, brother, hey, we're working together. No, we're not. Because I know at the drop of a dime that you will flip on me and sell me out. I know that, bruh. I know that because you have a lineage of evil. You have a history of evil. And thanks to the pattern recognition, I can notice you were evil, your granddaddy was evil, his granddaddy was evil, their granddaddy was evil, and the list goes on. So until you break this lineage of evil, I'm sorry. I can't trust anything you say. Because I know you'll call someone a patriot one day and call them woke the next because you don't like what they say.
He's out of line, but he's right.
The right is gone. They're cooked, they're fried. And only these Sambo soldiers are only making it worse. But the cherry on top is, do you want to know what happens when someone doesn't have an argument? When someone doesn't have a rebuttal, what do? They just laugh. And I want you to see this clip by this Sambo soldier who thinks, I don't know what he was doing in this clip, but he absolutely makes a fool of himself. It's always going to be a different story than the main story that the racist right tries to promote. Always going to be a different story. When people talk about you can't use lethal force is in the eye of the beholder, right? It's the same thing we have when it comes to an officer, that they fear for their lives. It can't be in hindsight. It has to be taken into account of what happened at that time. So if Anthony is being attacked, he's already been assaulted, and you have two people, it's 2 versus 1, in addition to them being completely outweighed. He's outweighed by them, right? They weigh 200 something pounds or whatnot. Anthony's a very skinny kid. Then yes, a lawyer could absolutely argue that he had reasonable belief that he was going to have not immediate imminent death, because it's not imminent death, but also a serious bodily injury. Those are two factors that come into play. So if he absolutely believes that he's going to incur serious bodily injury, then yeah, pulling out a knife to defend yourself is absolutely reasonable. It's absolutely can be seen as self-defense.
Wow. Honestly, what can you say at this point? I only can laugh. At this point, okay? They don't care. But let me actually stop there. They're not intelligent enough to understand the law, right? But even if they were intelligent enough to understand the law, they don't care to understand the law. They don't want to understand the law. And at this point, they're only defending Karmelo Anthony because he's black.
Now you tell me, did you hear a rebuttal? Did you hear a retort? Did you hear any type of refutation of what I said? Of course not. Because these are the race baiters, okay? These individuals on the right, these Sambo soldiers, are the race baiters. They are race baiting their white audience to be upset at something you should not be upset at, okay? That if the roles were reversed, that it was a little black kid who was died and the kid was white, that they would be arguing self-defense. We know this because it's not even hypothetical. We know this as we saw with with Ashley Babbitt. Ashley Babbitt, they arguing, oh, this shouldn't have happened. And she was in nothing but the wrong. They do this every single time. They were arguing for Dylan Ruth. Heck, they were arguing for the Buffalo shooter. These people are wicked. And you have these Sambo soldiers who are spewing poison to their white audience simply for monetary gain. And it's not doing anything but causing division. That's all he's doing is causing division. What he should be doing is telling the truth that this is self-defense. Because the moment in time where we have Sambo soldiers like this, but Tim Pool is arguing for Karmelo Anthony. We have Anthony Brian Logan who's arguing for Karmelo Anthony. I mean, you have to see at what point do you just lose your soul, bruh? What does the scripture say? Well, to gain the world but lose your soul? At what point do you have to have some moment of clarity to be like, yo, I'm forgoing all my integrity for $1? As the scripture says, the root of all evil is the love of money. And that's what you have these Sambo soldiers doing. And it seems that they have no bottom to how low they'll go. Just to try and tell people, oh, it's the woke activists and the race hustlers. When every accusation is a confession for these people. Damn. Every accusation is a confession for these people. They constantly want to say they don't see color. Now it's a black judge. They constantly want to say, I'm for, self-defense, and that's why you have the Second Amendment. And then when someone utilizes it that is of a different skin color than them, now all of a sudden, he was wrong. He was in the wrong. And they try to frame this and paint this picture of whoever they don't like, which ironically, I don't know, magically happens to be a certain group of people of melanin nature, as evil, as criminals, as monsters. And it's always just a confession. Every accusation is nothing more than a confession for these people. Everything they accuse other people of doing, they are guilty of themselves. Anyways, guys, that's a video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe Lucas, you just want him free because he's black. Or if you don't believe, you can come to that conclusion if you ignore the facts and the evidence, right? If you ignore the totality of the evidence that we have right now, sure, you can come to that conclusion. If it makes it easier for you to sleep, right? If it makes it easier for you to race bait your audience and say, it's a black judge and they just want him because he's black and all the blackity black, and never make that argument for Daniel Penny, for Kyle Rittenhouse, for the litany of other white individuals that have gotten off or have at least gotten the benefit of being seen in the eyes of the public as innocent until proven guilty. Nevertheless, if you happen to disagree, you know where to find me Friday through Sunday, Disagreement Day. Call in and we will duke it out. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment. Let me know what you guys think and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing.
A woke judge